Hello, 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 goddesses, and welcome to Wealthy Women's Wednesday. Welcome, welcome to Women Rocking Business. I am so excited to be here with you today, getting you the 3 feminine secrets to raise your rates and give yourself the raise that you deserve. These this conversation, it's so important because as women, we go out into the world and we oftentimes think that we have to give so much more of our time and energy and work harder, harder, harder to make more money. And what I want to invite you to do today is to work smarter, not harder. So put away your distractions, grab a pen and paper. Let's dive in and get you these 3 feminine secrets to really raising your rates, getting paid what you're worth so you can deliver the service that you feel so good to deliver, change the lives that you want to change, make the kind of money that you want to make. I'm sitting here in Solana Beach, California. You can see this beautiful painting of the bridge behind me as we all walk over the bridge of transformation today into charging more, valuing ourselves more. I'm sitting here reflecting on what it's been like to grow $1 million company. I'm sitting in the ocean view condo of my very first coach. Let's see if you guys can see outside. See the ocean out there? It's gorgeous. And when I first raised my rates, when I first started this business, I'll never forget, I just wanted to get to the point where I could make $5,000 a month. I was like, if I could make $5,000 a month, I'll never have to go back to my teaching job. I'll be able to do what I love forever. And I'm curious for you, like, what do you need to be making per month? Post below. Let us know that you're here. I just want to say hi to all you guys that are here. And post below, what are you wanting to make per month? My team's checking on me. What are you wanting to make per month? What are you needing to maintain the kind of quality of life that you really, know that you need in order? Here's the thing, you can't be the light of the world if you can't pay your light bill, right? So in order to really make a difference on the planet, what do you need to get paid to be able to show up fully, afford the self-care you need, afford the good organic food, the body work, what do you need to make every month? Not necessarily to go from where you are now to living like a multi-billion-dollar lifestyle, but what do you need to make every month to really be able to thrive? Because when you're thriving, your clients are going to be able to feel that. Hey, Tracy. Tracy's like me. You just want to make that 5,000 per month to start. Hey, Emily. Hey, Kara. Hi, Tina. Hi, Nina. All right, you guys, post below. What do you want to make per month to start yourself out? And then I actually am going to invite you to look at how do we actually do the math on that, and how do we get the mindset up underneath us to be able to comfortably, create programs that allow us to charge that, and to be able to actually be the woman to receive these dollar amounts. Hi, Hannah. Hi, Isabel. Okay, great. So collectively, we're going for somewhere between $5,000 and $10,000 per month, which is a great starting point, right? Because if for those of you guys that have jobs, the very first step is that we want to replace the income that you're making in your job, right? Because that's gonna get the resources coming in to really be able to start to sustain you and give you the time freedom to work on your business, so you're not constantly divided between your job and your biz, right? So the way it worked for me, and I'm so in touch with this part of my story because I'm sitting in the condo of my very first coach. I'm staying with her in Solana Beach for a few days. When I first decided $5,000 a month, I raised my rates to $497 a month because I knew that I was going to have to start thinking bigger about what I offered and what I did. and who I was becoming. And if I didn't charge enough, I knew people weren't going to take me seriously. So I raised my rates to $497 a month, and it was a 6-month program. So people could pay $497 a month, or they could pay $2,500, pay in full. And I practiced it in the shower, and I practiced saying it out loud, and I practiced saying it in the way that we want to be able to say our rates in the way that we would say, like, please pass the salt, right? Like, so the program is $497 a month for 6 months, or it's a pay in full of $2,500, right? So I practiced saying it over and over and over again, because this was not what I was comfortable doing, right? And so I remember getting on the phone with people, and the first person I talked to, I said my rates, and it was a no. Second person said my rates, it was a no. Third person said my rates, it was a no, right? I got on Facebook in my year-long group program that I was in. This isn't working. I've had 3 people say no to me. What am I doing wrong? This shit doesn't work. Excuse my language. I'm not cut out for this, right? Got on the phone, got a lot of love, got a lot of support from my tribe, got back on the phone. 4th person was a no. Got on the phone again, 5th person was a no. 6th person I talked to was a yes. 7th person I talked to was a no. 8th person I talked to was another yes. I think I talked to several more people that were no's. And then I remember the 11th or 12th person I talked to was a yes. Within a few weeks' time, I had 3 clients paying me $500 a month. Cha-ching, $1,500 a month. At the time, that was practically covering my rent, right? At the time. It wasn't anymore. But what I'm saying to you is, why not raise your rates now and then stay there and be willing to really create the relationships with the potential clients that are going to result in that yes. So what I want to know as you guys post is, what comes up for you as you think about charging more? What is the story? And for some of you, you guys should be charging $697 a month or $997 a month. For some of you guys, you should definitely be charging $5,000 for a coaching package or $10,000 for a coaching package. But what I want to ask you is, when you think about giving yourself that raise, what comes up for you? What does the story say? What does the voice in your head say? And just post those below so we can flush those out a little bit. Does it say, I'm not worthy of that? Does it say, nobody's going to pay me that? I mean, I'll never forget when I first made my first paid offer on stage for a 9-month program. It was an $8,000 program. And I didn't think people were going to have $8,000 in their bank account to be able to pay me. Like, I didn't even know that someone could literally, put down a credit card for $8,000. And we had 20 people that weekend. That was my first. I had about 75 people in the room, and I practiced and I practiced. I hired a mentor, and we had 20 people out of those 75 people sign up for an $8,000 program. And I was like baffled. I was like shaking on stage. I just had no idea, right? And that was the moment when I was really in the game, right? Because I had about 20 people paying me somewhere between $600 a month, and some of them just paid in full for like a $8,000 program. And, these are the moments that up-level your thinking and the way that you charge forever. And this is the experience that my clients have. My clients talk to 1 person who's a no, 2 people who are a no, 3 people who are a no. And then however many people it takes, they keep coming back. They come back to us. They let us know what's happening in those conversations. They let us know where the disconnect is happening. They let us know where they're feeling small, where they start making excuses, where they stop standing in their value. We keep correcting them. And then boom, they start selling packages. So, okay, these are some great shares. Tanya, hi Tanya. Tanya says, can I really bring the value of that much of an investment? That is so honest. Thank you so much for sharing that. Hannah says, there's so many years that I couldn't afford to get a haircut, let alone afford one-on-one coaching, right? That you think about the women that are in that situation. Thank you, Hannah. That's beautiful. Hannah, I might not be pronouncing your name correctly. What I want to say to both of you guys is that when people pay, and this actually leads me to the very first feminine secret to give yourself a raise. And that is that when people pay, they pay attention, right? When people invest, their lives change just by the nature of investing. So write that down. When people pay, they pay attention. So in order for you to really start getting people the results that they're asking for, the health results, the career results, the relationship results, the business results, right? In order for people to make the kinds of changes in their lives that you're asking them to make, they have to be investing. Can you feel that? When people pay, they pay attention. You have to charge enough that people take you seriously. And so think about for a moment, what have you invested in? What have you invested thousands of dollars in? Have you invested thousands of dollars to get trained in your modality? Have you invested thousands of dollars to get proper business training? Have you ever invested thousands of dollars in your health? And that amount of money that you invested, that is going to start to become energetically equal to what you can receive. Is this making sense? Right? When I decided that at some level, I'm running a 7-figure company right now, right? I'm running $1 million training company. So at some level, to do private coaching, I've got to be charging between $50,000 and $100,000 to privately coach somebody for an entire year, right? I've got to be charging that much because I'm caring for 12 women who work for me, single moms, right? We are maintaining the client load, hundreds of paying clients at a time. We're maintaining the client load that actually, sustains, a bunch of us in my company, not just me anymore, right? So I've become a steward, not just to myself, but to my whole team. And in order for me to give a couple of hours a week to a private client, we have to think about what is that worth for me to take my time away from growing the company and reaching all of you guys, right? So for me to actually be able to privately coach somebody is between $50,000 and $100,000 at this point. And when I first started charging that, it was and you don't hear coaches talking about this really, but it was just I could barely even say the rate out loud. And what I needed to do at that point was I needed to go out and invest in a $50,000 mentor, in an $80,000 mentor, in a $100,000 mentor. And I did. I knew I needed to invest so that I could actually experience getting the value out of that investment, because that was what I was needing to charge to actually be able to sustain, right, private clients so that we could funnel that money back into growing the company, right, to afford me being able to be out that many hours a week. So, right, you've got to be willing to stretch yourself, invest in yourself, and then receive the investment that people are giving you with a reminder that it's not your job to do it for them. It's their job to invest in the results that they're looking for. And then it's your job to be the guide that allows that to happen, right? So to really be clear on what's your responsibility and what's their responsibility, okay? So let's talk about the second tip to giving yourself a raise. And that is to add value. Notice I'm not saying work harder, right? And I'm not saying spend more hours with this client. But in order to truly give yourself a raise, you're going to want to add value. And so what that means is, how do you add value to this client so that they get the transformation that you're promising them without you having to bend over backwards? And so some things that you want to ask yourself is, how can I create a structure for this beautiful client of mine to track their results, to have some action step that they take every week, a self-reflection exercise, a way that they're checking in with me, even if we don't have a session, right? An email check-in, a Facebook check-in, right? How do you add value? Because here's what happens, and this is hilarious. I watch this happen all the time with my clients. They throw some things together. I think I'm going to do 2 sessions a month, and they're going to get access to a Facebook page, and I'm going to do a guided meditation every month. And I'm thinking I'm going to charge $597 a month. Does that sound good? Right? And they're asking people, right? And if this is you, I'm saying this with total love. And they're asking people that don't even have businesses themselves or that aren't charging that amount themselves. And it's adorable, right? That we do that. But I mean, think of the craziness of this, right? Like we're doing this in the wrong order. So write this down. What I invite you to do first is to ask yourself, what amount would I like to make per client? What amount do I need to be making per client so that I can afford to be in this business? Right? So let's say that you need to be making $497 a month per client. Just like I basically was like, if I'm going to get to that $5,000 mark per month, I don't want to have to be working with more than 10 clients privately in order to get to that $5,000 mark, because I need that money to afford an assistant and then to be able to launch my group program, right? So I knew that I had to start charging $497 a month because I didn't want to be working with more than 10 clients at a time. So I asked myself, okay, so if I need to be charging $497 a month, what do they get for that $497 a month that has me feel like, oh my God, this is a deal. You're going to get all of this for $497 a month. And that's when I added in like a 2.5-hour jumpstart session that I bonused in that first month so that we could lay out their whole first plan. They got the 2 sessions a month. I didn't add any sessions, but I started adding weekly exercises so that the program had like a lot of structure. I created a little journal that my clients could fill out so that every week they had an action step they were taking to build their business. And I also started to be available for what I called an SOS call every month. For me, it stood for sister, oh sister, right? Sister, oh sister, I need some support. So they could leave me a voice text. It was a SOS voice text. They could leave me a voice text once a month when they really were just needing me or feeling low. And the women that I was working with loved that, and it didn't take me a lot of extra time. So when you think about what you want to charge, rather than just throwing some stuff together, I actually want you to start with a dollar amount. What do you need to be making? And then reverse engineer that and ask yourself, what would I want to be included in this program if I were investing this much money, right? Would I buy this? And create things that you can start leveraging. If you do a training call, we use these Facebook Lives. We catalog these Facebook Lives that I'm doing, and we make them available to our clients because it's really helpful, right? For our clients when they're thinking about raising their rates, to go find the trainings that I've done on raising your rates. And when you do your own trainings, when you record something, when you do a video, make sure you slap a title on it and stick it in a folder where you can remember where it is, so that you can provide some of these extra resources to your clients. They're going to love that, right? So, number 1 tip, when people pay, they pay attention, okay? You got to raise your rates in order for people to take you seriously. Number 2, add value. Start by asking yourself, what do I need to charge so that I can actually afford to stay in business? And then what do I want to include in my program so that I feel great about charging that much? And then the last tip to raise your rates. And by the way, I want to just acknowledge Joni for being here and for being willing to step into your value. Yes, Tanya, it's not about working harder. It's about giving value. Tracy, hi, awesome. I'm so glad that you're starting with a beta group. Yeah, starting with a beta group is an awesome place to start, Tracy. And what you're going to find is that 2 or 3 beta clients is enough. And once you've taken on those 2 or 3 beta clients, I'm really going to encourage you to step into charging what you're worth, and make sure that you have a mentor that's holding you, right, to that leap of faith, because it is a little bit of a leap of faith. You guys, it's not going to be comfortable. It's not going to feel all comfortable and easy to sit in front of somebody and stand in the fire and say a dollar amount that you've never charged before. Every time we've raised our rates at Women Rocking Business, I freak out a little bit. I get nervous. Like, is it worth this much money, right? And then I go out in the world and I see people charging twice as much as we're charging. I'm like, hold on. Our program's better than that. But here's the thing. We don't always raise our rates. I love keeping our programs affordable. And at the same time, you've got to be charging market value. Some of you guys are still charging way less than a lot of people in the world who do something similar to you. So be willing to value yourself enough. All right. Here's what I want to keep asking you guys to post below. What is it that you are what is it now that you are committed to charging? Type that in so that we can create this field of manifestation around the amount that you're putting the anchor in the ground of like, this is what my rates are. The next time I talk to somebody about my program, this is what I'm going to say. So you can really visibly put that stake in the ground right now, because the third secret to raising your rates is to consider the basic math of how much you want to be making and how many clients you need at what dollar amount to comfortably get you to that number. Because when you don't know what it is that you're going for, how can the universe line itself up in your favor? Like when you don't know the amount that you're wanting to step into, how can the universe actually open the doors and send you the people that need to come your way so that you can create that result? One of the things that bugs me so much about manifesting and how people talk about manifesting is that when we don't manifest this thing that we say we want to manifest, we make ourselves wrong. Like, I must be doing something wrong if she's out there manifesting that thing and I'm not. I could go on. We'll have to do a whole nother episode about this. But here's the thing, goddesses. In order for you to receive more and step into having more and being more and changing more lives, we actually have to get you into a higher vibration. Because you've never experienced that before. That thing that you say you want, you've never experienced it before. So we actually need to get you into a higher vibration where that co-creation with the universe and with the divine and with God, with Goddess, is possible. Nothing good ever comes from working yourselves into oblivion and pushing your way into a result. And I'm not saying you never have to hustle or you never have to work. Like, we are going to have to show up. We have to push to get the baby out. The baby doesn't just come out of us when we're pregnant on its own, right? We don't just flow into having a child in our arms. It's real. It's painful. It's transformational, right? We have to push. But that pushing is aided by the universe giving us the contractions, right? So when your body needs to rest, let yourself rest. When you feel inspired, when you feel ready to go, ride that wave. Get down in front of your computer. I canceled dinner with a friend the other night because I was like, oh my gosh, I have a whole nother program coming through me. I need to sit here and get this down. It's happening now. Like, the inspiration is coming now, right? How many times have you felt that inspiration come, whether you're at an event or you're watching a video like this, and then it kind of peters out? You know, schedule these Wednesday morning video chats with me. Be here on Wednesdays. Schedule time right after this video chat to do some work, right? To get inspired, to work on your programs, to, you know, generate those discovery sessions, those free consultations that you're doing with potential clients, because the universe is wanting to co-create with you. We have got to get you operating at a higher level of co-creation, of showing up and doing the work and then letting the universe come in and support you. It's that magic that has you say, I'm going and I'm not doing it alone. And so when we think about this idea of you need to make $5,000 a month, how much do you need to charge to get there? You may land on a very similar number to me and many of my clients, where it's like, you know, you've got to charge at least $500 a month, because, you know, those 10 clients paying you that's going to get you to the $5,000 a month. And believe it or not, setting that intention for yourself and giving yourself a couple months to get there, 2, 3, 4 months to get there, is a very powerful stake in the ground. If every day your question is, what is it going to take to get there? What do I need to do to get there? Right? Some of you guys really need to set normal work hours, and take your business more seriously. Some of you really need to get yourselves into a program or hire a mentor. I'm just being honest. The accountability of having a whole group of people going toward that goal together is life-changing. So what is it that you need to do, right? Because as you guys write down the numbers, what do you want to be making and how many clients do you want to be serving? That's just simple math. That's just simple division. If you want to be making 10 grand a month, and you don't want to work with maybe more than 15 clients, then you're going to need to be charging about $750 a month, right? Which is great math as well. Awesome, Tracy. Awesome, Isabel. So keep posting. What are you making each month? What are you charging? What is the new rate that you are committed to charging? So, dun, 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 dun. Number one tip. When people pay, they pay attention, right? Stop selling yourself short. Charge the amount that's actually going to get people the energetic investment that has them take your work seriously. Number two tip, add value, right? Build out your programs in a way that you would be stoked to invest this amount in that program if you were getting all of the amazing support that your clients are going to be getting. And then number three, trust that the universe wants you to get paid, and get clear on the amount that you want to be making and how many clients it's going to take to get you there. Goddesses, we started our year-long programs this week. We already have women creating amazing results. We just had one of our newer clients, Hanavi, posting in one of our pages that she's been using our enrollment tools, using the Grow model, right? She doubled her rates and she just, boom, got 3 new clients at her top rate. So these tools work. The tools work. Use them, go out there, practice them. Keep staying active on the Women Rocking Business Sisterhood page. Head over to the Sisterhood page and let us know what you're going to be charging. Put a stake in the ground so we can all celebrate you, and keep going out there and giving your gift. When you give your gift, when you change lives, when you give great advice, when you're generous with yourself, people notice, people see it, they feel it, and the right people are going to want more. Thank you so much for being the very best part of Women Rocking Wednesdays and Women Rocking Business. We love you and we bless you and we thank you, and we'll see you next week. Keep shining, goddesses. Your clients are waiting for you. They're not just waiting for someone like you. They're actually waiting for you. Mwah.